What's up, guys? Happy Aloha Monday to you. How are you? I'm pumped to be here. I wanted to share with you guys a concept that has to do with brain health. And I've kind of been into this topic recently of brain health, which is kind of how I like to talk about, mental health, if you will. I think the term mental health is kind of a little bit of a weighted, negatively weighted term that I don't like that much, and I think a lot of more modern mindset docs are also not super happy with this term mental health, because I think it has some negative connotations out there. It's just like when we think of that, it just has this whole like stigma of folks that have issues, problems that maybe they brought upon themselves, and they got mental problems. And I just think that term is kind of lame and kind of outdated. And so I choose to use the term brain health, because honestly, if we all get our brains right, we will be able to sort of end this mental health problem or crisis that's there. It's really a brain health issue. And a guy that I've been reading a lot of his work recently, and he's just a super cool dude and a very world-renowned physician, is this guy by the name of Daniel Amen. And maybe some of you have heard of him. If you have, give me a thumbs up, give me a shout out there. But basically, he's been in the practice of psychiatry for about 40 years or so, and he came up with this term that he calls ants. And ants are automatic negative thoughts. It's a mnemonic that he came up with, I think 40 plus years ago when he was a med student. He came up with this term, automatic negative thoughts, and it's something that I think we all suffer from time to time. I mean, I don't really think any of us are immune to having a negative thought that pops into our head from time to time. And if we dwell on it enough, and we repeat it, or if we say it out loud, sometimes these things that we say about ourselves, we even start to believe, after a while. And so I think this concept of ants, or automatic negative thoughts, which he came up with, and I got to give him all the credit for, the nomenclature of this, was a cool thing he came up with as a med student. And I think the story goes something like this. He came home from a rough day at work, and he had basically he was in a psychiatry rotation. He had seen a couple of people that were suicidal. He saw a couple of young kids who, were depressed and having problems of behavior and having issues. And he, it was just a rough day. Another patient, I think, wanted to separate from their spouse, and he was just having a bad day. And so he came home, and to make matters worse, he came home to his apartment, and the whole place was infested with ants, the real kind, like all over his kitchen and everything else. And basically this idea came to his mind that all of his patients were suffering from negative thoughts, or these automatic negative thoughts. And so he basically decided the cure is we got to get rid of these negative thoughts, or these ants, if you will. About 5 minutes, okay? And so he came up with this automatic negative thoughts idea, and it's really something that I think we all have from time to time, and we got to get rid of them. And the cool thing is we can get rid of these automatic negative thoughts, and because we really don't have to believe every stupid thing we think. And I think the issue is if we think something that's negative, and we dwell upon it, and we keep thinking it, or we even enunciate it, or tell it to other people, the more that we perseverate and we say these negative things about ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, so to speak, we can start believing it. And let me give you a little trick. There's a way to dispel and kind of break this cycle. And let me give you an example. From time to time, I'll just be real personal with you. I get a negative thought every now and again that my wife doesn't listen to me, and I kind of dwell on that. And the reality is, I know that that's not true. My wife does listen to me, but occasionally, I'll talk to her, and she'll be on her phone, and it'll be just like, she's not listening to me. She's on her phone or whatever. And so I'm going to give you a couple of steps to go through. So for me, the negative thought is, my wife doesn't listen to me, and when I think about that, the first question is, ask yourself, is that negative thought, is it true? Okay. So when I think about that, I know it's not true. My wife does listen to me. We last week had an amazing 2-hour conversation on our car date, sitting in the parking lot at Chipotle. And she listened to me and I listened to her for like 2 hours. So I know that that's not true. Okay. So first step is ask yourself the question, is that thought true? Okay. And the second question is that thought undeniably 100% true? So if the answer to the first question was no, then of course the answer to the second question is also no. So I know in my example that when I think to myself and I'm frustrated and I feel like my wife doesn't listen to me, I know that that's just not true, okay? The third question you ask yourself is, how do you feel when you believe, that question or that negative thought that you had? So when I think about my negative thought, which is my wife doesn't listen to me, I feel sad, I feel kind of bummed out, I want her to listen to me. And so when I think that negative thought that my wife doesn't listen to me, it's not an upper, it's a little bit of a downer, okay? So how you think about how it makes you feel. And the fourth step is, how could you turn that around? How would you feel if the opposite of that was true, right? Take the original thought, turn it around, and I would say to myself, my wife does listen to me. And I have thousands of examples of how my wife does listen to me. And so when I dwell on that, it makes me happy. I think, gosh, I love it when my wife listens to me. We have amazing conversations. And so basically, I give myself examples of the flip side of this negative thought that I had. The original thought was my wife doesn't listen to me. And when I give myself examples of in my life, which are myriad, too numerous to count examples of when my wife does listen to me, I realize that this negative thought, my wife doesn't listen to me, it's crap. It's not true. It's not true. And so I focus on the converse of that, which is my wife does listen to me. And that kind of reminds me, okay, it's cool. That's the truth. The truth is my wife does listen to me. So basically we can, talk back. Like I got 6 kids. I think many of you guys know this. And I got a couple, I got one teenager and one almost teenager, and they're great at talking back. And we need to get good at talking back to our negative thoughts, because these negative thoughts do not have to become our reality. We can talk back to these negative thoughts. So think about that. Anytime you feel sad or you feel mad or nervous or out of control, whatever it is, and you have one of these automatic negative thoughts or ants, ants in your brain, ants in your head, just take a pause, take a knee, and think about, is this thought really true? Is it 100% true? Most likely, no. Okay. And then think about how you feel when you feel that thought, and then flip it around, turn it to the converse, and think about how you feel when that thought is not true, and go through these steps, and it'll completely change the way you respond to these negative thoughts, because we all have them. I mean, even those that are super accomplished, that you think have no issues, have no weaknesses. Almost everyone I've ever met has negative thoughts from time to time. What's up, Trevor? What's up, Susie? Thanks for watching. And the cool thing about this whole idea and concept is we have within us the power to break this cycle, this sort of negative thought cycle. And we can go through these steps that I just characterized for you, which are complements of the one and only Dr. Daniel Amen, who's such a cool dude. I'd recommend that you grab his book. I think his most recent one is called The End of Mental Illness. I've gotten that one, as well as his previous bestseller, which was Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. Both pretty awesome books. A lot of good pearls in there. And so just wanted to kind of just give you an idea about this concept that he talks about a lot, the automatic negative thought, or the ants, and how you can have the power to turn this around in your life and not believe, these negative things that you may think from time to time. It's just a cool concept. And unless we, press pause and think about, what's driving this negative thought in our mind, and then flip it, sometimes we just let this negative thought become a broken record. And then, we tend to believe it, and then we can unfortunately sometimes act upon it and basically make it true in our lives, and it didn't even start as true. Remember, rule number one is it true? Rule number two, is it absolutely unequivocally 100% true? Most likely not. And so we can learn to flip that and see it as a positive thing, and for what it is. We don't have to listen to all these stupid voices in our head that often are negative. When they're negative, just kick them out. Talk back to these negative voices. So I just wanted to share that concept with you guys, and don't let these negative thoughts steal your joy. Don't let them. You can stop that in its tracks. You have the power to do that. You can do this. We all from time to time can be subjected to these negative thoughts, but we can kick them out just like Dr. Amen did back in his day when he discovered or just coined this concept. And it's been so powerful, I think, in so many people's lives over the years, including my own. And when I have negative thoughts from time to time, I try to press pause and just stop them in their tracks, because I certainly don't want to dwell on them and make them my reality. So that's my little pearl for you guys tonight. Thanks for watching. I wanted to let you know too, if you haven't heard yet, I've just created a brand new Facebook group, which is a health and wellness Facebook group where I'm going to be putting in content to there regularly, both written as well as I'll be doing some videos in there. It's called the Modern Medicine Movement Health and Wellness Facebook group. Look it up. Click on join, and I'll see your request. I'll add you to it. It's a private Facebook group. So it's pretty awesome. You're going to get access to me, to lots of great content. We'll be sharing lots of cool stuff regularly, including, video format, my podcast. In fact, I hope you'll have a chance to listen to my podcast I just released today. That's super interesting. It's on basically something simple you can do to increase your daily energy as well as improve your sleep. And it's a free concept, something you can do, doesn't cost anything, invaluable. Check it out. Listen to the podcast today. It's available on Apple Podcasts. Really cool topic. I got some really awesome upcoming podcasts. Next week is going to be with the one and only Preston Pugmire. We're going to be talking about basically, the mindset, advantage, the mindset before strategy concept that he talks about and is expert in. And it's a pretty awesome concept. Can't wait to get that one out to you next week. So it'll be really cool. It'll be in an interview format. So super exciting stuff. Join the Facebook group, Modern Medicine Movement, Health and Wellness Facebook group. And you can, be messaging me there, as well as through Facebook and so on. If there's topics that you guys are particularly interested in, I'd love to cover material that's of value to you guys, stuff that you're thinking about already. And so super excited for that. Super excited, for upcoming podcasts. Thanks for watching. Just remember the ants. Get rid of those ants, those automatic negative thoughts, because the power is within you. You can do it. All right. Take care. Have a great evening. A big aloha to everybody. What's up?